guys, I just want to be done. I just want to be done. Like, how many more of these movies? What? I feel bad for anyone that had to watch these movies. I mean, I watched them. I pray to God you guys don't watch these movies. I mean, what I find interesting is that people will watch my reviews, but it's like, are you guys even gonna, like, did you watch the review because you like my content? Are you genuinely curious to know if this was a good movie? I think it's obvious by the cover that Krampus Origins is not a good movie. So this movie is written by the guy who did Krampus Unleashed and Krampus the Reckoning. Both movies that I don't like, but you know what? Krampus Unleashed was better than Krampus Reckoning, so there's something for that. But I think it came full circle because this one's the best out. This one is the best one out of the three. Is it still good? No. No. It's still, well, is it still good? No. Is it still bad? Yes. But I at least feel like there is an attempt at a movie here. Okay. So this one, I got really excited for it. For those of you who saw my old review, which is now private for obvious reasons, my old reviews were trash. We don't speak of them. Only I have the privilege of doing that. And you live and you learn. You live and you learn. That's what I always say. No, I don't. Anyways, so I reviewed this movie back in 2017 when it came out. Was it 2017 or 2018? Damn. It's crazy. That's 7 years ago. Wow. I'm really bad at math. So, yeah, I reviewed this movie in 2018, and I remember, even when I saw it, I remembered thinking, wow, that was, Also, I failed to say this in my Krampus the Reckoning review. Again, I don't know what it is. There's no Christmas in that movie at all. You could literally have it take place any other day. There's no snow, despite what this fucking cover will tell you, that there's no snow. Same with this cover, right? You look at it and you're like, oh my God, there's gonna be fucking Christmassy. It's gonna be, you know, lights and shit. Nope. Nope, this is not even what Krampus looks like in the movie. This is a joke of a cover. Krampus looks nothing like this in the movie. In fact, he looks like a medieval knight. He looks like Sauron from Lord of the Rings. I don't know what they were thinking. So this movie caught my eye because of the title, Krampus Origins? We're going to go into his origins? Hell yeah. I want to see that. They don't do that. I don't know. Bruh. It's the same fucking shit. They don't use Krampus's mythos. The cover's a lie. It's the same shit. That being said, this one I actually felt like they tried. Now, this is not a good movie. I said that already, but the difference with those movies and this movie was there was an actual decent story that was pretty clear from beginning, middle to end. And you can watch this movie and be like, yeah, that was a bad movie, but at least you watched I don't want to say competent movie, but you watched a movie. This is one of the films of all time, right? As I always say. So this movie is about this takes place during First World War. And there are these World War soldiers who are, you know, they find this book, this ancient book, and they get killed. And like, I think it's 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks go by, and this girl is transferred to an orphanage where she has to look after these kids, and there's nuns there looking after the children. And once the girl gets informed that her husband died in the beginning of the movie, his things are, you know, given to her. And one of the things that is given to her is the book that was found. And one of the kids who's like sort of into witchcraft, voodoo stuff, herbal medicine, I don't really know. They don't really explain it. She reads the book and unleashes Krampus, and Krampus starts taking kids, and then this random kid, Nicholas, shows up, and he just stands there and does nothing the entire film until the very end. It's revealed, oh my God, he's Krampus. So for a movie called Krampus Origins, if you're watching this expecting, no. This movie's not even connected to any of the other Krampus movies, so what the fuck was the point? I think none of these films should be a Krampus-related movie because these three don't have anything to do. Funny enough, the only Krampus movie in this fucking whole pile of shit is Krampus the Christmas Devil and Krampus 2, The Devil Returns, which I'm going to review next. Thank God those two are going to be the last. They just also so happened. We'll talk about that when we get there. But, yeah, so none of these movies go with the Krampus mythos. They literally just make up their own shit. And this one, I do like the fact that they attempt to kind of like go more into the mythology, that he kidnaps kids and that sort of thing, but they never fully do it right. It's always some sort of weird thing. And this one gets fucking weird. This one gets weird. Now, all these movies are boring besides the two Mother Krampus movies. I don't know what it was with those two. Those ones were fun. They were bad. They weren't good, but I had a lot of strange fun with them. Mother Krampus 2 was the best one out of the bunch. That one might be the fucking best out of all of them. But anyways, I digress. This one actually was kind of entertaining. Don't get me wrong. It is still slow and boring in a lot of areas. But, like I said, there is a beginning, middle, and end to the story. And I do like the attempt. And this takes place during World War I. There are set pieces in this movie. We're in an old orphanage. There are old-timey cars, costumes that are from the period. So this movie actually has some budget and effort put into it. This movie is the most confidently well-made out of the whole bunch of Krampus movies I've taken a look at so far. Even the next two I'm going to talk about. But this one is this one's more confidently made than those other ones. And that is the one thing, that is the one big positive I will say about this movie. So, this is what you think Krampus is going to look like, right? No, this is what he looks like, right? And credit to where credit's due. They commit to it. They commit to the design. Even though this takes place on Christmas, though, there is no Christmas-oriented lights. There's no Christmas snow. None of that. It's just could take place anywhere else. This movie literally, that's my big issue. This movie is called Krampus Origins. We don't really go into Krampus's origins, nor do we make an attempt to actually, have it take place in the period that it should take place in, which is Christmas time, winter. It takes place during World War I, and I like that. That was cool, but everything else is... But anyways, I'm talking so much about all that stuff. What about the characters? What about the, I said the story was, decent enough. It is. Characters are fine. I actually did care about a chunk of them, so that's good. But again, it just falls back down into that category of like, they just talk about nothing to drag out the plot. But because this does have a beginning, middle, and end, the pacing is better than the other two. In fact, this movie, when it wrapped up, I was kind of like, oh, well, that was a lot quicker than the other ones. It's because those other ones, bad pacing can kill a movie, even if it's good. Bad pacing can kill a good movie. You have no fucking clue. Now, these movies are bad, but it just kind of reiterates my point. Bad pacing, bad movie. Ooh. But this one actually had some decent pacing, and I found some of the characters to be likable. We have an ensemble cast here. We have a group of kids in an orphanage, and all of them are decent. The acting in most of these films are terrible, but this one was actually decent, and there's some actual actors in this movie that I recognized. The main the main sister, they're called sisters, right? Like nuns are called sisters. That's what they're referred to as. Anyways, the head nun of the orphanage, I forget her name, but she was in a few movies I've watched. Movies I haven't covered, but she's been in a few movies, so I recognized her, and there were some other actors I recognized. The little girl who played Zoe in Krampus the Reckoning, she's in this, and she's grown up. Funny how time flies. And all of them did a decent job. Krampus looks like Sauron, I already stated that, but he does some cool things, and I do like the design. I do like that every one of these films has a different, unique design in these films. This one is probably the biggest lie, because he looks like Sauron, and somehow in the cover they chose this weird Krampus-looking monster. I don't know why they feel the need to lie. like on the cover. You don't need to lie. You're called Krampus Origins. You don't need to lie about what he looks like. No matter what you put on the cover, people are going to see it and be like, oh, Krampus? I gotta watch that. Holy shit, my mind's blown. Another Krampus movie. Anyone can make a Krampus movie. Anyone. The fucking title is non-copyrighted. So, there's that. Yeah. I mean, besides the acting being decent and the characters I liked, most of them don't really do anything. They're not really well fleshed out. I do like some of the characters, but they're not like fully fleshed out. The only one that's fleshed out is the main character and one of the kid characters. I'm not good with names, so forgive me on that. But besides that, I will say this: the movie is kind of. It's not boring in the sense of like, oh, the pacing's bad or anything. Like, has decent pacing, but not a lot happens until the very end when shit gets buck wild. And this movie, strangely, had an uplifting ending, which was kind of refreshing, but it just kind of ends, and I was like, oh, the movie's done. Okay. Well, that was Krampus Origins. So I don't really know what to say. I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's just kind of, I'd give it like I'm torn between a D+ and a C-. I'm leaning more towards a D+, but this is more confidently confidently made than the other bunch that I just reviewed. So I'm gonna give it a C-. I'll be generous, but take that with a grain of salt. None of these Krampus movies are good. I've said that like hundreds of times in these reviews, but I'm gonna say it again because I want that to be stated. So, yeah. All right, we're done with that. So now we can have real fun. We can take a look at Krampus the Christmas Devil and Krampus 2, The Devil Returns. Lord, please pray for me, Lord.